Almost 3 o'clock on the 24th, which makes it a Monday. Rain gutters are officially finished for now. Alright. Good enough, right? One into each can. I could do a lot of tweaking, but for now it's there. Alright. This side is kind of a Franken mess. But that works. You know, I got it down. And I didn't have any more trash cans, so I just angled this one across. It's kind of a temporary hack. I used the trash cans where they were with the bus, so I just doubled up on them. So there's 2 on this side. Could go one more for this one, but for now, good enough. All right. I used to have rain gutters on this side of the bus, and I took them off because they were in the way when I was putting the shop up. And with the shop here, there was no way I could get them down as low as I wanted to. So they're seriously rolled, canted, rotated, whatever, inward. I got them sloped down pretty good to the middle. Now the interesting bit of this is how do you get the water where you want it, right? So the original thought was, well, turn out, come across here, right? Which would make sense. And then do another corner to there and then drop down. Well, corners are expensive, right? And I kept looking at it, and the other thought was if there was more of a height difference, I could have come right off the rain gutters. In fact, I almost could have now that I look at it again, excepting that the middle one is a lot lower. That's something I learned here was I got to have a lot more slope to make this work good. So I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? I don't spend a lot of time in here like I thought I was going to. It's a good place to store some of my stuff just to keep it out of the sun. But there's enough room I can walk underneath that without hitting it. Okay? So good enough, right? And that's a 10-foot piece, or actually it's a little less than 10 feet now. So there's no seams except for the elbow at this side. So it comes all the way across. There's no seams, so it shouldn't leak. And so this is the one that comes from there. Bip, and then right down into the existing trash can. And this one comes across, and it comes out here and down into that one. Then I had this one kind of orphaned short roof here because when I made that roof, I didn't want to dogleg it. You know what I ended up doing. I didn't want to do that, but I couldn't think of what else to do. It used to slope down this way, and then I had one more trash can out here. Well, you know, how many trash cans can you have, right? So I thought if I could just push it back, and what really kind of sealed the deal for me is I thought about it. I'm like, well, don't be greedy. You know, I'm all trying to get like every little drop of water. Well, it's like, maybe that'll be important, but that's got 1,000 gallons in it, and that's over 200 gallons. If I get one good rain event, I've got 4 here. Those are, say, 30 gallons each. So that's 120. Plus 2 more in the middle is another 30, 60, so 180. The ones on the other side is another 200 and some. So let's say I catch about 200 gallons if all of these fill up, right? Which they won't, but I could catch up to 200 gallons. Okay. That's that, right? So as it is, it's like good enough, right? That looks mighty impressive. That's actually kind of cool. I don't know, but this might be Tyvek tape, or like house wrap tape. This stuff actually worked pretty well. I've had this on some of the other pieces for a while, and it seems to hold up to the sun pretty good. So I just taped them together. So they're actually, it's pretty solid. It's not flapping around, and then the ones that go down into the trash can, most of them are captured in the hole. I put this lid back on because the bees kept getting down and drowning, and I was like, well, I didn't want to take their water source away, and for whatever reason they picked this can and almost completely ignored all the other cans, including 2 that have open tops still. Don't know why, but anyway. So what I came up with, so that they wouldn't keep drowning, I put these little dishes out here and then dropped the washcloth into it. These are a couple just washcloths, and that's wicking the water out. And actually, it drains it too fast. This water will be gone in like an hour or so, but they can soak the water right out of the washcloth, and any leftover water just runs right back into the trash can again. So we're not losing very much. We're getting a little bit to evaporation, but it does seem to be working. Very few of the bees are drowning now. Earlier, when the water was cold, if they would get down into that and hit that cold water, you just see them stop moving. The reason for that is it always seemed to be one can would be completely full and overflowing, and the one next to it had very little water. So by interconnecting them, if water goes to one and not the other, the wind, that kind of thing. And again, this one, I interconnected these two with that black pipe. I need to get some covers put on here again. And what I'm torn because I hate cutting holes in those trash can lids. Most of my trash can lids have holes cut for this. And I think what I'm going to do, I've got some of that 3mm plastic still. I think that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to go around and just tape over all of these. And that'll keep them a lot cleaner because there's so much dirt and dust and dead bugs. And, the ones that have covers are a lot cleaner. So that seems to be working. The ones on this side over here have parts of the garden hose, but that wasn't long enough and I don't have any more scraps that I can piece together. Oh, one other thought. Yeah, these ones have the valves. I picked those up off of eBay. They were sized to fit garden hose. I figured that would be the greatest thing ever, so I could isolate a tank if I wanted to. Well, they're plastic valves, and the sun just killed them. So I won't mess around with that anymore. Yeah, these are the two bigger ones. So, and the way this is set up, it's really hard to get in here. It doesn't give you quite enough room to really get in. So, next project now is, since we haven't had rain for a few days, go around, clean all of these out, get them really clean, and then tape them up a little better, and figure out what to do with those hoses. Yeah, look how much water we got. Over half full. Yeah, look at the water just beating up on these things. It's killing me. There's a little bit of sunshine even. Look at that, shadows. Definitely smells like rain out here. Has that unique smell to it. Alright, as it stands, the forecast today is for 2 days of rain, today and tomorrow. It started raining about 4 o'clock. Maybe we can see that sparkle. That looks kind of cool looking right at the sun. You can see puddles on the driveway down there. It just stopped a few minutes ago. Earlier I had pumped these things down to an inch or so from the bottom, and they're about 2/3 full again. Some of that is from the snow that melted off the roof. Alright. But the irony is, so I've got rain gutters on the shop and on the other side of the bus, but not the house. Yesterday I go into El Paso and I spent about $300. Rain gutters! Still in the truck. And I'm like, what are the odds? I didn't know the forecast was for rain, I'm like, I could have gone the day before and had rain gutters put up by now. So now I'm kind of looking and thinking, right? I'm not, oh my God, desperate that I have to get the rain gutters up today. I've got about 1,000 gallons of water in the big tank. That's plenty. It would suck to waste not catching water, but I am catching water here, right? So I'm getting a lot of water, actually. I mean, the house would be a lot more water, but we're still getting something. And it was just the irony. I was doing the math on this, and I'm like, it's about $300 or more of parts that I got. The rain gutters themselves are cheap, and everything else ends up expensive. It's like any other project. You're like, oh, this is not too bad. I got vinyl ones. I figured, I don't know, there's pros and cons to all of them. These are cheaper, so that made a big difference. they'll kind of snap together with the other parts I have, so that should be easier. But it was like, yeah, between the rain gutters and the tank, not counting all the other infrastructure I already had in place, like the hauling tank and the piping in the ground, all of this system, the manifold and everything, I'm about $1,000 right now. You know, $700 for the tank. It was $799, but I got $100 off with the discount. And then this, so yeah, we're over $1,000 just so I can catch free water, right? But it's hard to, I don't know, how do you even say that? Yes, I can go haul water for $43 a month, okay? And in fact, that's what I did. That's how I filled that tank mostly up, is that's town water right now. Wear and tear on the truck, hauling 200 gallons at a time, that's, what, 8 pounds to the gallon? So that's 1,600 pounds on a really bumpy road. It's eventually you're going to wear the truck out, right? It's not good for trucks. I know they're made for it, but you know, it's a 20-year-old truck with over 200,000 miles. So if we can catch rainwater and not have to haul water very often or at all, right? That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. So I'm going to expand on this idea. Some of these are joined, and I might do that more. But take advantage of what I already have in place here. Rain goes into rain barrels. What I'm going to do is plan on, as soon as it's done raining, get out here with my pump and pump it into the tank. So this is just going to catch that rain, and then I pump it out. Let the can settle for a day. All the dirt will go to the bottom. Pump the top, you know, leave maybe 2 inches of the bottom. The trash cans work, right? They're all catching water, and the equalizing is working. You know, I got these hoses connected to them, so water is only going in 3 of them, but you see how high that is. This one doesn't have anything coming into it, but it's the same height, right? I could do that again, but those are about $1 a gallon is about an average price. You know, a 30-gallon, 32-gallon trash can will cost you $35 if it's a good one. If it's not strong enough, then you don't want to put water in it because it'll just explode. All right. The big tank that I just bought was $700 for 1,500 gallons, so that comes down to 50 cents a gallon, right? In a hard rain, this will hold water for a couple hours and then it'll soak in. So like, yeah, there's nothing here. This is nearly finished. This is approximately 3,000 gallons if I did the math right. Okay, it's 8-foot radius, so 16 feet diameter, more or less round. I think it's about 3 feet deep now, and I started hitting a really hard layer, so I figured I was going to stop digging. I've only got like this little bit left, you know, to finish digging. My plan was to do a concrete liner in here, so pour a pad on the bottom, probably rebar up the sides, and then stucco or spray like shotcrete onto the side, something like that. I had a couple different ideas. One was ferro cement, where it's instead of using forms, you do a rebar and chicken wire mesh, and then you just kind of press the concrete into that, and you can do like a 2-inch thick, kind of build it up, and apparently that'll work for a water tank. So I've been really wanting to do that, but I didn't. When I was looking at buying the big tank this year, I was really torn because $800, I was like, man, could I just go build a tank, right? But what I thought of, what if I build this, nice 3,000 gallon tank, get it all full, haul water for 4 days in the truck, fill the tank up, and then, then it rains, I put some more water in it. What if the thing breaks, it just blows the side out because I've never built one before? What if it doesn't work? All right, now I lost all my water. Right? I thought, okay, let me do the safe thing. Buy the tank first. Now I've got a tank. Now I can experiment, right? So this is not going to be the first tank I build.
I'll probably build a smaller one. And I'm thinking about doing ferro cement for the ones up by the house, is what I'm actually thinking right now. So I got 3 or 4 ideas there. Then I looked at this again, and an idea I had a couple years ago. Walmart in the summer will have those above ground swimming pool kits, right? And they're like a couple $100 or something, you know. And I'm like, I don't, you know, it would be actually nice to have a swimming pool. But I was looking at it, I was like, man, that would be, it's almost the same size as this hole. I wasn't thinking of that when I started digging the hole, right? As my surplus water, you know, like when we get into monsoon, I could reroute water instead of going to that tank, which will be full, put water in the above ground pool, which will be down in the hole, right? Maybe put a fence around it so the cows don't try to fall in it or something. Because I do have cows walking through here every once in a while. So that's a possibility. So that would be my summer water. And then every time I use water from up there, because like this will be storage, but I won't be plumbed into it. So I'll just pump from here back up to the hill and put it up in the other tanks then. So anyway, this is the stuff that keeps me up at night. Never fails though. I'll go buy something and it'll sit there for a week before I get to use it because, you know, something will change. The water tank was probably the best I've done though. I bought the water tank and had water in it a couple days later, so we're getting there. You can definitely get a lot more done if you don't have to go to work. Well, it's not going to be a good solar day, but I can do some stuff inside anyway. Alright, stay tuned. Oh yeah, in case I forget, this was the 10th of February, 2020. That's probably not even visible in the shadow. So before I can put the rain gutters on, I really was supposed to have done roof bracing on the front. The overhang was unsupported, which was a dumb idea. Just never really thought it through. So I'm going to do kind of like your old Alpine style little triangle braces out here. And I'm cobbling it together kind of with some scraps. But one of the things I added here, above the window, there's a 2x6 going all the way across, which seems ridiculous, right? That is going to be so I can hang a shade roof off the front, like a covered porch, veranda, I don't know what you call it. So I figured if I put the 2x6s up there, and they're screwed or nailed with framing nails to good structure, so it's nice and solid. Bonus points, that covers the seam between the siding. Okay, so I kind of had that in the back of my mind from the beginning. So what I got here from the 2x6, I dropped down, and I'll measure that later, so I want to match it for the other one. And then from there I came out. I've got my floor jack out here, taking some of the slack out because it was drooping. So I just bumped it up until that line was square. I notched the end of the 2x4, kind of like how you would for rafters. And then saw that I was too low, so I just added another 2x4 block up above it because I needed it to be level to the 2x6 that was kind of placed arbitrarily. You know, where it is isn't particularly important or whatever. So that's that. So now what I'm doing is I'm cutting 45s on a piece that'll come from here up to there. And what I wanted to get on here for myself as much as anything, because if you don't do 45 cuts very often on your saw, I think there is a reference mark, but it's hard to see. At least I had trouble figuring it out. So, you know, you got your normal cut mark, you know, so you can line up when you're cutting, right? So on the front of the saw shoe, there's a mark. Well, there's probably another one for 45. Maybe not though, it's got 0, 1, 2, 0, 1. So what I came up with, and this will be different on every saw, but I measured from the end, I wanted to have 0 waste. So basically cut a 45 without wasting anything. So, you know, that's the end off of one of the cuts I already made. So I looked at it, I'm like, okay, let me just line up the blade by eye
where does it touch this top corner? Because it's going to cut this way. Okay. Once I figured that out, I just took my Sharpie and made a mark on the opposite side of the shoe, such that when I hit the wood, I'm going to be right at the top corner. Okay, so how far is that? Well, on this one, it's 3 1/4 inches. Okay. So I just marked, because I'm looking here, there is not a mark here that I could use. Maybe this one is? That might be. But it's not quite right, it's close. Okay. So I just figured, all right, on this saw it's 3 1/4 inches. So I'll measure over 3 1/4, put my speed square, clamp it in place so it doesn't move, make my cut. I'm going to end up with pretty much zero waste. And for what I'm doing, this is totally close enough, all right? Okay. That was the last of the 4 cuts that I had to make. Yeah, it's like maybe a 1/16 of an inch wasted there, or maybe an 1/8. Close enough though, right? Now I got wheel chocks for the robot or something. Right. So I made one for each side, so I'll try to match the other side to this one. I probably will do one in the middle. I haven't quite decided yet. I may come back on that, because really what I'm trying to do, and I've been working around the rain. It rained this morning. It's supposed to rain today and tomorrow. We've got clouds everywhere. So I was just kind of like not going to work today outside. You know, and then I looked out and I'm like, oh, there's blue sky. So I've actually gotten, I don't know, I've been out here maybe an hour so far. And I kind of was just like, okay, I'm going to work in stages. So I put the 2x6 up there. So that involved getting the air compressor out, the air hose, the extension cord, the nail gun, finding the nails. Okay. You know, speed square, framing square, my Sharpie, my measuring tape, right? All that crap. And that's kind of what I'm like, a lot of days I just don't feel like doing something if I think I'm going to get rained on, which doesn't happen very often out here. But at the same time, I thought, well, if I can just get this done, right? So if I get, you know, get the 2x6 up. If it rained after that, okay, one step closer. Okay, great. That went okay, so I put the other side up, you know, because it was too big for one piece. Okay, get the other side up. Okay. I need something about this long. I looked around, I found a scrap that was about that long. I didn't even care. It's like, close enough, I'm going to put it up there. Boom. Okay. And from there, I measured out and did the next one. Then I looked at the notch. Yeah, I should do a notch. So let me figure that out. So I get out, you know, my little handheld recip saw. Okay. And then I'm like, oh crap, my solar light is exactly in the way. Okay, take that down, you know. And it kind of just goes like that. But I'm like, well, if I just keep, let me use a little transparent bug flying by. Oh, they're everywhere. Oh, crazy. They came out when it rained. Great for them. All right. So yeah, you know, it's just like, well, if I just nickel it down, you know, it's like kind of like that. What was that book, The 5-Minute Manager? You know, look for tasks that you could get done in 5 minutes, and just always have them available, so that, oh, you got to wait 5 minutes. Okay, let me do something. You know, and if I think if I can just get the discipline to do that kind of thing, we'll get somewhere. All right, enough yattering. And we're just gonna nail that sucker up there. Now, right now, I've got tension on the jack. And I'm going to check this with my framing square just to see if we're kind of close. You know, I like that. Let's go with that. I had made a mark, and then I thought, well, let's get it kind of close, right? Don't need to worry about it too much. So if I hold this up in place, my 45s will kind of tell me where, you know, get it so where it's sort of sitting on there. Like about there. That looks pretty good. Yeah. See? We're done. How about that, right? That feels a whole lot better. I was terrified up here when I was doing the roof, so I actually took a temporary 2x4, nailed it to the side of the house, stuck it up there, right? And then I took it down again. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, you know, I really should probably brace this, but and then you get doing something else, and you forget. But it's supposed to rain tomorrow, so if I get rain gutters, that does make sense, right? All right, so this one's done, so we'll switch over and do that one. All right, one hand on the board, just loosen up the jack. I'm just curious if it'll move. No, I think it's stayed. Good. All right, it's about 3:45 on the 10th. Considering it was raining this morning, I've actually been fairly productive today. I've got the corner braces built on both ends of the roof. Added this 2x6 all the way across. That later on I'm going to hang a porch off of. So I just wanted that to be there. Moved the solar light. And got rain gutters on one side. Once I got into it, these go up amazingly fast. They are uncut. There. Last one I cut about 6 inches off. So I don't remember if I thought that the roof was exactly 40 feet long. I don't know if I actually quite measured it. Oh, I probably didn't measure it. Right, because I got a 35-foot tape measure. Anyway, so it's going to be 2 downspouts in there. Now, I don't have anything to put on this side as far as... I haven't quite decided. I don't want them to just, if it does rain tonight or tomorrow, which it probably will, I don't want to just have all that water go down and hit the ground and wash under the house. So, there's the next question, right? I do have extra downspouts because if I only use 2 on a side, I'd planned on using 3. Okay, and the way I set these up, I go high, low, high, low, high. So they should run to the middles of those 2. Yeah, over yonder. And what I'm looking at for tonight, because I don't have anything like a tank ready anyway, I think what I'll do is cut one short, couple of elbows, and just run them both out to the creek here, just to get it away from the house, because otherwise, I mean, there's kind of this wash pattern all the way along the house, but that's from coming off the roof. The plan is going to be take these galvanized ones off and put them on the bus again where they used to be, and then put vinyl here. Not that I care which one is where, but it happens that the galvanized will work better on the bus. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to come up with something for the downspouts on this side, whatever that ends up being, and then take a break and see how I feel for the last hour. If nothing else, I'll get the stands set up on the other side and then bring the tools in. That was one of the things I stopped after doing the corner bracing on the roof, just to bring in all the extra tools that I didn't need anymore, because I had, everything out. So I put these up with these little 1-inch Tex screws. These are lath screws. And I just ran those right into the OSB. I didn't really look too hard, because it was hard to see where the ends of the trusses were. I should have been looking for that a little more. That would have been a good idea, and then screw right into the end of the truss. But most of the OSB looked like it was hanging pretty good. There was one that looked like it was coming loose, so I ran a longer screw into that. But everything else seems like it's holding okay, and I ran screws about every foot or something. One thing I had considered, if this gives me trouble or if I just decide to come back and do it, I'm thinking plumbing tape with that metal strap with the holes in it. Run it from the inside, come all the way around back, and then loop it and then right in again. I'm thinking that would kind of make things stiffer. Because if these things get too much water, they're going to pull off. Maybe, and I'm not really sure what the wind is going to do, but we'll see. I didn't use any caulking or any seal or anything like that. We'll see if I need to or not. Lost water is lost water, but it's also free water, so. It's like 2-inch square, and these are 3 inches by 2 inches, right? So I'm not sure what they're thinking there. I guess you could turn the downspout either direction. I don't know, it just seems kind of odd. All right, about 4:20, I decided I was going to call it today anyway. So what I come up with, a 10-footer would hit the ground. Okay, so I had to cut it off anyway. So I went around to the other side where it's coming off the bus, and I figured out how tall my trash cans were. So I come up with, I don't know, 28 inches or something like that. So I cut these off so that they would reach into a trash can when I have a trash can over here, because that's kind of like the lowest common denominator here. You know, I'll have a trash can or something better, probably. So in the meantime, water should at least kind of run away from the house there. So I was going to move my work stands to the other side and be ready for tomorrow, but I thought, well, I'm getting tired. I'm not used to working this hard anymore. So I just bungeed the downspout to the work stand so it doesn't flap around in the wind, because it'll probably blow at some point. So anyway, water off of this side will be wasted, so all that work for nothing for today. Probably will rain tonight or tomorrow. Anyway, so since I got some daylight left, two things. I'm going to fire up the generator and start my hot water heater so I can take a shower tonight, because it just is time. And while that's happening, I'll set up the pump and the hose and put some water back in that, because right now that's mostly empty. I had looked at the way you're supposed to do this is you'd come off of the rain gutter, elbow over, elbow down, and then come down next to the house. Well, elbows were about $3 or $4 a piece, right? So I was thinking at the time of 3 downspouts on each side of the house. And so that's 6 elbows minimum, and then whatever I do when I hit the bottom. I'm like, that's just too much. So for now, that's what we're going to be. Yeah, keep it simple. But yeah, I'm quite happy with myself for getting the roof brace done 6 months later. That's been on my list for quite a while. So now that's done. Don't have to think about it anymore. Pretty happy about that. Cool. Generator, hot water, pump water, shower. Excellent. Go. Okay, I wanted to get this shot. This is why we rain gutter, right? So the snow from last night, it wasn't very much, but it's running off the roof. You get this line of water. It's actually quite a bit coming across the ground here, right? And I've got some over there running off the roof too, which is dripping through the rain gutter that didn't really work very good over there for whatever reason. Didn't get enough slope, I think. So that's that. And then we come across to the north side. I don't see any real drips up here where they're not supposed to be. I think some of that is just frost that was stuck to the rain gutter, so it's melting. But it's not just running out everywhere. But these are both running pretty good. I don't feel like walking far enough into the dirt that's wet to see how much is up there, but I knew this was going to be a problem. It's just, I don't have anything to catch that in right now. But at least it's not doing what that one is. So, anyway. I had a little bit on my sidewalk that's already mostly melted. This little bit here in the corner again. So, it wasn't a huge amount, but the front of the bus was white this morning. It's mostly melted now. In fact, yeah, there was a little bit of snow in here this morning that's melted already. So we're getting, blue sky is popping now, so we should be okay for solar. But I just happened to look outside and I saw this and I ran to the other side and I'm like, yes, it's working. Cool.